This is the Pivotal Running Podcast, and you're listening to Greg Derbyshire,
Chris Grunhagen,
and Marty Wimblom.
And we are three jackrabbits from two different countries who continue to follow running in the upper Midwest.
And we want to discuss important topics, inspiring stories, and extraordinary performances in running. Welcome back to the Pivotal Running Podcast, and thanks for joining us today for another exciting episode. Joining us today is the head cross-country and assistant track and field coach for the Sioux Falls Lincoln Patriots, Luke Jelen. Luke is a 2013 Lincoln Alum who ran collegiately at both Lipscomb and Liberty Universities. After completing his studies, he returned to further develop and sustain Sioux Falls Lincoln's winning culture. His direct leadership has resulted in leading the boys and girls cross-country teams to an impressive 7-team combined state championships from 2014 to 2020. Luke truly bleeds red, white, and blue, and it's a privilege and honor to talk with him today. Luke, thanks for joining us. How's everything going for you and the Patriots?
It's going great. We've just had a bunch of meets recently, and we've got a big meet Howard Wood Relays coming up. So we're just excited. We're excited to be running and racing, competing. Things are just going really well, and we're just excited for the weather to warm up and continue to get better this track season.
That's great. Sounds exciting to be at Howard Wood after the 1-year break with all things pandemic. You got quite a few seniors on your team this year. Can you talk a little bit about them and what they're looking at accomplishing this year?
Yeah, we have a bunch of seniors on the boys' side. We've got 5 of them that are running track this season, and then one girl. So a bunch of people that'll be moving on, but they have big goals. Our boy, he's trying to win the mile or the 2 mile or both. We've got a 4x8 team that wants to win, and just trying to be competitive in everything. And just excited to see also what they're going to do after high school as well, and just developing them as people and sending them out. And unfortunately we have one guy that got 5th for us in cross country that has a stress fracture. So he's out for the season. So that's a huge blow to our team, because he's such a great kid, and feel like you always have, 1 or 2 that end up going down. But other than that, I mean, everybody's looking good and healthy, and it's going to be a fun rest of the season.
Yeah, the state championships are here in the Black Hills, Rapid City. So any outlook on the state championships coming out West River for those?
Yeah, I mean, we're excited. I love the Sturgis track, and that's where we're going to be both days. So that'll be very fun. As far as our team, we're the boys are deep, and it'll be fun to see what they can do, and just a few seniors that have been just staples in our program for a long time, that just exciting to see what they can do after a season of not having the state meet where they could have accomplished a lot. And and I always love going West River. We don't get to do it very often, and just to stay overnight and have the experience for the kids. And it's great. So we're excited.
Yeah, well, you ever think about taking your cross-country camp up to West River? We could, I'd love to, be a fly in the wall and maybe tell them about my experiences in running, but I'm just signing myself up if you ever come out here for that to conduct that summer camp. So that'd be great. We actually we went as a team 2 years ago to the hills, during preseason. It was just great taking them out there and run on the Mickelson Trail, and just experience nature. I mean, we have a great setup here in Sioux Falls, but it's nothing like, the trees and the, the environment there in the hills. So it's just cool to go out there and give them that experience. So we would love to go back for sure. But let's talk about how it started for you. How did running, this whole journey with you start?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say it probably started when I was really young, probably about 5 years old, going to cross-country meets from my siblings. So I have a brother and 2 older sisters. that all kind of paved the way for me. They all ran for Lincoln, and then they all went on to run in college. And so I guess it was kind of just gonna happen for me. I mean, with all my siblings doing that, it's yeah. I remember being a freshman in high school, and I think I played baseball my freshman year along with cross country and track, and I had played a bunch of other sports as well in middle school. And a part of me was like wanting to go my own way a little bit, but I kind of knew that I was eventually gonna fall in love with it, and that happened middle of my sophomore year of high school, where I really started to like get into it. I was like the alternate for our state team during the fall, and then started to hit some big PRs in the spring and just getting excited. And then that year we had lost 6 out of 7 seniors going into my junior year. And so we just basically lost the whole team, and it was like, all right, here we go. Like we got to step up. And so my junior year was really when things started clicking, and I just really fell in love with running and fell in love with competing. And our team was good, and so it was fun. And it was just, I think that's kind of where it started. It was just my siblings paving the way. My older brother was a great runner for Lincoln. He won a state championship, or a couple state championships individually, and just seeing all of them run in college was really inspiring for me. So I just kind of took it after them. So
that's great. Can you talk a little bit about the not only the running culture in your family, but also, the Sioux Falls Lincoln family culture that really sort of, to really make things happen there for a string of consecutive years here?
Yeah, well, I mean, among our family, it's kind of funny the way you put that, because a couple of my family members would always joke that like all we would talk about is running, and so they'd like roll their eyes, around the dinner table when we just like keep talking about like performances and stuff. And so yeah, we definitely had that for many years, and it continues with me and my brother, because he's coaching in Texas, and so we're both still in the sport. And so yeah, definitely got into it that way. But as far as like when I was running for Lincoln, Coach Pooley, the coach before me, his first cross country season was my freshman year as head coach. And so he was just starting to come in, and it was a challenge right away, because we had a bunch of upperclassmen, and they were used to doing things a certain way under the previous coach. And and Coach Pooley came in and just kind of started to change things up. And Lincoln's always had a fabulous culture, and they had a great culture even before Pooley came. But I think when he came in, he felt like they maybe lacked some competitiveness a little bit, and maybe weren't working hard enough. And so he came in, and first thing he said was like, all right, we're going to run more. And one of the guys on the team, I remember him telling me this story. He said he proposed like a certain mileage amount. It probably wasn't even that much, maybe like 35, 40 miles a week or something. And the kids said, you're not going to get anybody on this team to run that much. And then Coach Pooley said, I want to find someone. I'll find someone to run that much. So he just came in, and it was a tough first 2 years for him because he got a lot of pushback, but it was so worth it, because my class, we just bought in. We bought in right away, and by the time those seniors graduated, it was just like it was his team now. Like Coach Pooley's philosophy started to come in, and one thing that he really tried to do when he came in was bring back the 70s. Basically, is like he just wanted to bring back that tradition of just excellence and what Coach Greeno had built back then. And he would do things like before big races, before state, he got like Jim Reinhart to like send a note to the team. I think he might have had like a video message at one point and stuff like that. And so just connecting us to the past, and that we're running for something bigger than just our current team, that like this is a long-standing tradition, this is a running school, just bringing all of that back. And another small thing, but like these small things add up, I think. It's like when I first came in, we had like just red jerseys and red shorts. And there's so many teams that have red, like in South Dakota. And one of the first things he did when he got an opportunity to get new jerseys was to bring back the baby blue that they had in the 70s. And like hardly anybody has that, and it's really unique, and brought back the SF shield and stuff like that. And it just I don't know, it was cool. So we all bought into that. And like I said, once those seniors graduated, which I love those guys, and I still talk to a lot of them, and they were, yeah, they started to buy in really like toward the end. But yeah, once they left, it was just like up to us to step up. And it was kind of the perfect storm, because we got in these two freshman guys, Will Lauer and Nathan Schroeder, who ended up being just, staples for our program for the next many years. And they came in together, and it was just like instant, like, okay, this is gonna be fun, because they were like just like tenacious freshmen coming in. And then we had our class of juniors that like we were ready to step up, and there was just so much excitement, and there was just a buzz about the team that I don't think they had in many years. And so, yeah, that's kind of what it was like. And then throughout the season, we just kept getting better and better. And I remember there was a preseason ranking. I don't think they do this anymore, but they ranked us, if I remember right, like 14th out of 15 teams coming in, because we had lost all those seniors. And we ended up finishing second to Roosevelt by 12 points. And we were just like so fired up at the end of the season, because we like totally blew away expectations. And that was just awesome. And so we were like ready to just come in the next year and just take it. And we're like, it was like, it had been 27 years since we had a title at Lincoln. And yeah, we were just so pumped up. And one thing that was really cool about that next year was that my brother, who he was not living in Sioux Falls at the time or before, he moved back to Sioux Falls with his wife for 1 year, and he was volunteer coaching during that season when we took home the championship. And that was something that he wanted to do when he was in high school. Like, he won individual championships, but they really wanted to win that team championship, and they never got to do it. And so it was cool to have him a part of that as well. And but yeah, just like so much hunger and so much excitement around the team. And I think that just got the ball rolling. And then we just kind of kept it rolling all these years. So.
Yeah, it's a tremendous insight that you just gave to me, and certainly the people who listen to this. It's fun to watch. Certainly, I was at the state meet this year, and with the adverse conditions, with it snowing, and the snow at some point was going sideways, but it was just cool to see. Right, many of your athletes, right, you could look at their eyes and know that they were going right to either come away with that state championship or right, come away like bleeding. I mean, it was really, for my first state, high school state meet, and probably over 20 years seeing here in South Dakota, I was like really impressed, both your boys and girls. I was just taken back by that. So yeah, I could feel that when you described that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say the state cross country meet this last year I'll never forget that. It was just like, oh man, that was so fun. It was epic. Like to have a meet like where there's snow on the ground and it's snowing currently, like during the race. Like it was like just pure South Dakota cross country. I just loved it so much. And yeah, and the boys just they just, I don't know, they performed as well as I thought they could. And yeah, it was just the perfect day. And they ran really smart and patient. And I know one thing that was really cool, just a quick story, like our top guy, Zeb Mendel, he really wanted to win an individual state championship this past year. And he had been going for it. I remember being in workouts, like just pushing him and trying to get him to be where he needed to be to win a state championship. And he didn't get his state championship. He got third. And I remember him kind of being a little emotional about it after the race. But then, he went to his mom, and like they embraced, and he just made a decision right then and there. Like, I'm sad about this, but like we won a team state championship and I'm gonna go celebrate with my teammates. And he just turned right around and he didn't think about himself. He just thought about his teammates and went right over, and we just had an awesome celebration. And I think that attitude and that like leadership that he showed and maturity was something that I was really impressed with. And it means a lot more than even winning a state championship. It's just the maturity of the kids over the years, and to see him go from, where he was as a freshman to be where he is now is really cool. So that's ultimately what we try to do. And just to have 6 seniors on the team is special, to be able to finish their careers out with that. And so, yeah, it was just great.
Yeah, with many of those seniors also looking at running at the next level as well. That's really cool. Now, you were able to run at the next level, but what sort of was the trigger that got you thinking, hey, I maybe have a good shot to run at that next level? What was that for you? What was the trigger?
Gosh, I think just my brother probably, and my sisters too. They all ran in college, but I mean, my brother went up, went to Liberty and went D1, and I don't know. I just remember going down to Louisville at Tom Sawyer Park and watching him race, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. I just saw it as like, this is an opportunity to maximize potential, and you can only accomplish so much in 4 years in high school, and especially when I spent the first 2 years of my high school career on JV, and so you only get like 2 years of varsity running, and so you have so much left to give. And so I think just watching them was really inspiring. And I mean, one of my sisters was a D3 All-American, and like just seeing them achieve so much, that's really what was the trigger for me. And I think once I really became a runner, which was, like I said, kind of at the end of my sophomore year, leading into my junior year, I never considered not running in college. I just knew I wanted to do it. That's an experience that I didn't want to miss out on. And so my sisters went to Bethel University in Minneapolis, and their track team would come down for Howard Wood relays, and they would stay at our house. Like a lot of the distance runners would stay at our house, and I was like a middle schooler at that point. And just seeing their like team culture and how much fun they had, and that like everybody was just like so close. I was like, man, I really want that. I want to like live with people and like train with them and race with them, and just over 4 years and build those relationships. And so that's kind of what drew me to college running. And yeah.
That's awesome. Can you talk a little bit about how you navigated through the university recruitment process, and share some lessons learned from your experience being recruited?
Yeah. I mean, I remember like getting letters and stuff, and I see this with my own athletes now. Like some of the letters you get, they're like, "No, I'm not interested." But I got excited every time I got a letter, and just feeling like, okay, these schools like are interested. And kind of just made a big list of potential schools that I wanted to go to. And I really wanted to go to a Christian school. I felt like the state school environment, from what I had seen, I guess just wasn't really something I was interested in. And I remember visiting. I visited the University of Wyoming. They were recruiting me, and just hanging out with those guys on the team. I didn't get like the right. I don't know. It wasn't the right vibe for me. Like just, it was kind of like this party culture. And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if I want that. And so I was really only looking at Wyoming and Southwest Baptist in Missouri, and then Lipscomb and Liberty. So those were the 4 schools that I kind of narrowed down to, and then I took visits to. And then I quickly narrowed it down to Lipscomb and Liberty, and they were both pretty similar. And I guess I kind of wanted to go my own way a little bit, because my brother went to Liberty, and so I was like, yeah, I guess I'll give Lipscomb a try. And I remember going on the visit and just like loving the team culture and how much fun they had. They just did a really good job on the recruiting visit of like really selling the school. And so yeah, so I chose that school. And I'm sure as you've done your research, like I ended up transferring from Lipscomb after one semester. And so this is where it gets interesting, like just lessons learned. I think a lot of people would say like because I like transferred that I chose the wrong school. But like I don't really see it that way. Like I think I took the path that I took and I learned so much through it. I mean, one thing that I learned is that like when you go on your recruiting visits and you see these schools and you only get like a little snippet of like what it's like, and maybe you're talking to coaches and stuff like that, it's not always, doesn't always end up how you thought it was going to end up. And there were just some things that about the school, about the team, the coaches that was just different than what I expected. And just eventually, I think it was like midway through the season, I just decided this isn't for me. And I'm gonna go to Liberty because that was the other school that I was looking at. And I knew that was going to be a great fit because my brother loved it. And so, yeah, and it was tough because I had torn my ankle. I had torn a ligament in my ankle my first semester there. So I raced like 3 times and then went through that process, and I ended up getting surgery on my ankle in December. And so when I transferred to Liberty, I started off injured for the first year that I was there. And I feel like just with the way that that we were training at Lipscomb, it was kind of crazy. Like, I'll be honest, like it was just like a little bit too much. And I think that I got injured because of that. And but like I wouldn't trade that for anything. Like I don't regret going there for one semester and then moving to Liberty, because that's I just learned so much. I was humbled by a lot, and like I mean God taught me a lot. I just really like, I don't know, like I said, I don't regret it. And I think I don't know, one thing that I would say for like young people looking at schools is just to like know that you're not locked in like to 4 years at a place. Like if you're really nervous about like which school do I go to, I know it's a big decision, but at the same time, like you might find that it's not the place for you, and then you can always have the option to go elsewhere. So that was kind of my experience. And just going through the recruiting process was definitely a really fun experience, and it's fun to be able to decide where you want to go. My parents were really supportive in whatever decision I was going to make. And and I loved living in Nashville for a semester, but Liberty was definitely the place for me. And so I don't regret any of that. So, yeah.
No, I appreciate that, Luke. It's really, transparent that you say these things to, student athletes who are, in spring right now trying to figure out, hey, where am I going to go? And then that advice that you gave to not only me, but obviously the people that are listening to this is really important. I think, especially in a really changing environment in 2021 in terms of, college athletics.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you, many student athletes have some struggles, and you talked about some of the, your struggles and lessons learned through that. But what are maybe some of those, what is some advice you would give them in terms of how to go ahead and plan and prepare themselves to run and study, obviously, at the next level?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing would be like, just make sure the school you're going to is like the right culture for you. Like team culture is everything. It's just going to shape your whole experience. And there are some schools that like take it really seriously, and some schools that don't take it that seriously, like competition and all that stuff. And knowing what you're getting into is important. And like I said, sometimes you think you are getting into something and it doesn't end up being that way. And that's okay. Like you don't know what's going to happen. That's part of the excitement of it. But I would just say like, yeah, like making your decision based off of like I definitely think you have to go visit the school. I think you have to be around the athletes, just kind of know what they're like, and how they approach life. And so yeah, my advice would just be to go and check it out and be around the team, and make sure it's a place where you can grow and not like, I don't know, just coast, but really push yourself and get better as an athlete, and also like not viewing it from a selfish perspective, but like, what can I bring to this team? And that was a lesson that I definitely learned my freshman year, and that I was like really humbled by, like my injury and stuff, because I think a lot of people, including myself, you want to go into your freshman year of college and like be this stud freshman runner that like blows everybody away. You kind of have that pride about you. It's just like, oh, I was one of the best runners in my state, you know, and then you go in and you want to do really well. And like you a lot of times find that like you, I don't know, you're among like a bunch of state champions. And like when you go to college, it's a whole different ball game. And so, yeah, I would just say like, humble yourself before you get there so you don't learn those lessons the hard way. Because like, yeah, I mean, it's so much better to enter that environment not thinking about like, how can I make myself look good, but like really coming in thinking about others and how can I make everybody else better around me. So
that's great. Thanks, Luke, so much. So what was it like to return back to Sioux Falls Lincoln and lead the same program that developed you as a student athlete?
And it's dream come true, honestly. Like,
yeah, awesome.
After college, I moved back to Sioux Falls from Lynchburg, Virginia, and right away, I had kept up a relationship with Coach Pooley for all the years I was gone. I would call him, a few times a year during the summer. I would come back, run with him, talk to him. We would meet up for coffee, things like that. And so I kept up that relationship with him. And then I just right after I graduated college, I came right back to Lincoln because I was like, this is just home for me. And I was like, I want to see what these young runners are all about, and try to help in any way that I can. And it was really interesting, like right away, just coming right from the college environment, going right back to high school. It was definitely different. And I think right away I focused too much on like the top athletes on the team, where like I enjoyed, because I was in really good shape coming off of college. Like I enjoyed just being in the front of workouts, like pushing them. And not that it was a bad thing, like it was great and fun to do that. But I think that first year that I was volunteer coaching, I could have gotten to know like more people on the team. I think it was just fun being like that fresh college athlete that comes in and like everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're so fast and stuff. And yeah, I think I could have done a better job, but I guess that you learn from that. And and I definitely think I'm in a better spot as a coach now, because of that first year. And after that year of coaching cross country and track as a volunteer coach, I got married in the spring, and then my wife got a Fulbright teaching grant to Spain. And so we actually spent a year living in Spain. And so I was away from Lincoln for a full year. And that was a great experience for us. But when we were there, more than anything, besides like obviously, missing my family, things like that, but like more than anything, I just thought like, man, I just really want to be with those Lincoln runners. Like I just missed it, and felt like totally drawn to that. And that's my time in Spain. Like that was when I really knew that I wanted to coach like for the rest of my life. I was like, I just want to do awesome. This. Like I love it.
So cool.
just thought about the team, and I thought about, what the future could look like. And I had a few conversations with Coach Pooley, and just, he was about to start a family, and I got the impression that he was gonna, probably be there for, I don't know, 5 to 7 more years, maybe. And then I might have the opportunity to step into the head coaching role at some point. But I was like, I'm fine with just being an assistant here forever, because I just love Lincoln so much. And so I came back from Spain, and I was again a volunteer coach. And it was crazy, because I came back to the team in the summer, and then it was like the first week of September, I went on a run with Pooley, and he tells me that he's going to be leaving after this year. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, I thought he was going to be there for like a bunch more years. And he was just like, right, just like that, he was going to be gone. And so I was like, well, what do I do now? Like, I hardly have any experience. Like, I have two years of volunteer coaching under my belt, and are they gonna, like, I knew that Coach Pooley was going to recommend me for the job, but I didn't know what was going to happen. And so after that cross country season, during the winter, like he made his speech to the team that he was leaving, and it was like super hard for them. I remember kids getting emotional and stuff from what I hear. I wasn't there. But yeah, it was a really, really hard thing, because he had been there since, that was like 12 years that he coached. And some of those kids had, that was their senior year or whatever, and they were about to lose their coach. And so I took over the team in December with winter training, and then applied for the job in January, and in March I got it. And so just a huge blessing to be able to have this job and this opportunity, and to have it so much quicker than I thought that I ever would, even if I never knew that I was going to have it to begin with, but then to have it, as quickly as it happened, just a huge blessing. And I'm just really thankful for being able to be in the position I am, and coaching the same kids just like me that came through this program. And so I just love it.
That's pretty exciting to, just hear how you get to come back and lead this program, and right, just start pouring in, and certainly you'd been there, and with almost this trip to Spain, you were then able to kind of really reflect on, what really mattered, and certainly you started really just putting a ton of time and energy into this team, and obviously it's definitely made these student athletes a lot better, right? Not only at their time at Lincoln High, but on the next level as well as in life. So thank you for choosing to come and serve in that capacity. That's really inspiring, man. The one thing I have to ask is, I got pretty excited when I saw your program's mission statement. How did your coaching staff and your student athletes sort of develop that?
Well, there wasn't a whole lot of like conversation about it, I guess. It's just kind of like what our team is, honestly. Like, it's both our goal and kind of like what, just kind of the heartbeat of Lincoln and Lincoln cross country. I just kind of developed it out of what I see, and just the servant leadership that we have on our team. Just giving Coach Pooley, one thing that he would always stress is giving the kids the opportunity for their own development. And so, as coaches, our job is not to just like bark orders at the kids and, always tell them what to do, but like teach them how to like figure it out themselves, and kind of like pass the baton on to them. And that's what makes it so cool that like, I got to coach alongside the guy that coached me. And I want to have that in the future, where like we have some of our kids that I coach, like some of our maybe graduates this year or next year, like 6-7 years down the road, like volunteer coaching for me. That would just be incredible. And that's the kind of kids that we want to develop, and just who are, really self-motivated, and kids who like, I think as a coach, what I want is kids that, like, I have to hold them back to, like, they want to work so hard and they're so pumped up about cross country that, like, during workouts, they're like, no, I want to do an extra rep. And I'm like, no, man, you're done. Like, you look like you're done. Like, those are the kind of kids that we have a lot of those kids, and we want more and more of them, instead of being like, gosh, these kids are just like not motivated and they don't want to work hard. Just kids that, like, I don't have to tell them what to do over the summer. Like, they just go out and run themselves. And so, that's the kind of program that we want to create, and just have leaders and kids who organize practices on their own. And I mean, it's not even like it makes my job easier, I guess, in a sense, but it's not like I want to make it easier. Like, I love every part of it, but I mean, I could seriously, like, I could give so much to our leaders on the team, and they could just, like, take over. Like, I'll even share a story from this past week. Like, we were gone at a meet, and one of my junior boys, he was like, oh, I feel like we could use some, like, speed work and stuff. And I was like, yeah, like, we're definitely, like, transitioning to, doing some more of that and stuff. And I was like, why don't you just come up with a workout for the day? And the kid, like, writes a workout, and it's like, it's awesome. I was like, this is going to go super well. And so, like, any kid who wanted it, was like an optional practice. And most of the kids showed up, and he just said it went really well. And, like, I mean, to have kids, like, writing workouts that make sense, and they're, like, leading their teammates and stuff, it's just, like, that's awesome. So so that's the kind of program that we want to have, and we just keep pushing toward that.
Yeah, great sharing that story. That gives me some chills, just to think that, you just gave, this athlete, empowerment to just say, hey, I want to go and create this workout, and then we're going to do it. And then, right, we're going to see the responses. And then, right, you just probably just got them fired up for another 4 to 8 years, maybe the rest of the life. And maybe even just started this, possibility of going to be a coach someday. I mean, that's so cool, Luke, that you did that, where there are a lot of coaches that would say, no, I've got to have that, that level of control, right? That, but you're really that empowering, that decentralized, but obviously you're over top of that, right? Managing that risk. It's really cool to hear that. So really cool, man.
Yeah, like, I appreciate that. I just learned it from Coach Pooley. Like, he taught me how to coach, and my brother's a coach too, and I learned so much from him as well. And just like, I feel like the runners, just having responsibility, and giving them empowerment and things like that, are just, that's just, I don't know. There's no better way to coach than to, like, kind of fade into the background and make it about the kids and not about me. Like, I don't want to be, like, in the spotlight. It's funny, like, 2 weeks ago, we had this meet in Brandon where, like, everybody was exploding, like, running just crazy PRs, like, literally every single race, except for, I think, one. All of our distance runners had big PRs in that day. It was just a crazy day. And one thing I did, was like, I didn't talk to the kids at all about their race strategy. Like, I didn't even ask them what their goal was for the race. I literally just was like, I'm going to leave them alone and let them do their thing. Like, these are varsity athletes. They can figure it out for themselves. And they all ran great. And it's like, in a way that's, like, really humbling, because it's like, I didn't even do anything to, like, cause them to race. Like, it's all them. Like, they raced great, and I can't take responsibility for that, because I didn't tell them, like, oh, you have to do this and this on this lap, and, like, strategize or whatever. They just did it, and they're great athletes. And that's something that I learned from Coach Pooley too. Like, he would just, kind of fade into the background on meet day and just let the kids be great. And if they, of course, if they like, they had a bad race, then you go up and talk to them and like try to figure out what went wrong and ask them questions about, you know, what was going through their mind during the race, and you know, try to help them to become better next time. But I think just when you talk so much about like, this is what we need to do, this is what we need to do, like I have this idea, like it kind of takes the creativity out of it for the kids. Like they need to be able to imagine going into a race, like what could I do? So instead of like telling my kids like, oh, I think you can run a 4:30 today, like just don't say that, just let them imagine that. And then it's just like this dream that they have in their head instead of like an expectation that I'm putting on them. So that's one thing that I've had a lot of fun doing, is just kind of like fading into the background and letting the kids do their job. So
That's great, Lou. Thanks for sharing that with us. The team core values are excellence, enthusiasm, and team spirit. Can you share some of the ways as a coach you and your student athletes have helped one another in being accountable during the ups and downs of any cross country or track and field season?
Yeah. And these core values, like I said, are just basically what, you know, whether they've been written or not, have been Lincoln Cross Country's core values for a long time. And I think that one thing I learned, like I'm a big John Wooden guy, and his cornerstones of his pyramid of success are excellence, or are enthusiasm and industriousness, which is like another word for hard work or excellence. And I think those things being paired together are just like an unstoppable force. Like if you have kids who are working hard and who love what they're doing, like they're just going to get so much better. And then to tie it all together with team spirit, like just having a team focus instead of, you know, a selfish, prideful mindset. But you care about your teammates, you care about just the group and what you're doing. Yeah, we hold each other accountable all the time. We talk about these things, and I try to read the kind of, I guess, read the vibe of the room, if you want to say. Like one thing I learned from Mike Smith at Northern Arizona, just listening to him, he's always talking about like just paying attention to like the environment, like and are they happy, are they, you know, complaining, things like that. And that as a coach, I think is the most important thing to monitor, is just like, how are the kids, how's their attitude and things like that. And so I hold my athletes accountable. Like if I see kids like come into practice looking like they just don't want to be there, I mean, I'm not afraid to go up and tell them like you don't have to be here. Like I want you to leave. Like honestly, if you're gonna be like this, but like please stay and have a good attitude. Like, and even just yesterday at the meet, there was a girl who she's just been stuck running the same times. Like, I don't know if that's happened to you before, but just like where you run the mile over and over and over again, and you run the same time, and it just gets so frustrating because you know you can do better, but it just doesn't break. So that's how it's been for her. And she ran she ran one race, didn't go well. She was all discouraged, and she was starting to you know, to kind of have a bad attitude, and just like it was rubbing off on her teammates. And she's not usually like that. She's usually like a great leader for us. And so I pulled her aside and talked to her. And that's basically what I told her. It was just like, basically like, this isn't you. And reminding her of things, of why you should be thankful to be here. Like you have teammates that are injured right now and like that want to be here, and you are healthy and like, and stuff like that. And so I guess just holding them accountable for who they should be and who they have committed to be on this team. You know, we've just talked a lot about those things. And I think specifically just thinking about our boys program, and the way we've been able to like reproduce, you know, athletes over the years, I think it's just the accountability is just like the older guys realize what it took for them to get to where they are. And so then they try to spread that and teach it to the younger kids. And it's like, they don't do it in like a mean way, like, oh, you need to do this, but they're just so encouraging to the young kids who like haven't totally bought in yet, that like, you need to, you need to run over the summer if you want to get better, and like things like that. They organize team runs on their own all the time. And I don't even have to do anything. Like, they just do it themselves. And I think that's a great way that they hold each other accountable. And I think one thing that I would say is one of the biggest reasons why Lincoln Cross Country is where it is and has been for decades is the balance between having like a light and fun environment, and then like getting down to business when you need to. Our last cross country season, you could see like at some meets, like our boys would be like playing 2-hand touch football before the race. They're like totally goofing around, and like to other people, it's probably like, what are they like? They're not even focused on the race. Like, they just go in and they don't care. I remember a couple teams back in the day, like getting kind of mad because they were like training super hard and like just working their butts off. And then they would see the Lincoln guys just screwing around at meets, and they were like, what the heck? Like, these guys are just like, they don't care, and they're so fast and they always beat us. But like, the truth is that like, yeah, we are like goofy and we have a fun environment. But then when it's time to like work hard, like they turn the switch and they get down to business. And I think that's what makes it so special, is that like it's just not an environment of like pressure and heaviness. It's like, we're just always joking around. Like, I was at the meet yesterday hanging around the kids. I laughed so much. Like, they're so funny. And like, and that's one thing I love about being a coach, is just like, I get to be around these just hilarious young kids that are like, they've just got so much like spirit in them and so much life. And I love like trying to foster that environment and keep it around. And if anything threatens that environment, I'm like, we need to take care of that. So, yeah.
That's really cool to hear, man. That's fun. It's makes me want to, be in the team huddles, or, just even at the meets, and kind of see, what all things are going on. And yeah, now, so we were fairly uncoiled in the 2021 track season, and with the march to the state championships, they're just 4 weeks away, really. And what are you most impressed with your team's performances so far in this season?
Well, I'd say from a purely performance standpoint, like one thing that I really wanted to emphasize going into this season was the 3200. I think it's a race where a lot of high schoolers are kind of afraid of it, because it's 8 laps and they're like, man, that's just like so many laps around the track and it's so long, and everybody loves the mile, like it's 4 laps. It's really easy to understand how to race it, and everybody's curious about how to run, or what mile time am I going to get? So I really wanted to like emphasize the 2 mile, because I mean, that translates to cross country better than any track race, and like at least for high school. And I wanted them to just get to the point where they're not afraid of it anymore, and they actually embrace it, and like, this is our race, like we're going to go after it and train for it. And so I've been like really impressed with how they've responded to that. And like, we've had many meets where a lot of our kids have run like the 1600 and then the 3200 on the same day, like, and we call that the distance double. And I just remember like being an athlete, and everybody, like, if you get entered in the distance double, it's like, oh man, like you're running the distance double today, like, oh, good luck, like that's gonna suck. but like, it shouldn't, like, that shouldn't scare you. We run 5K in cross country, and like that's basically what you're running in the 2 races. And plus, like, we do like long runs where you guys are like running forever and like clicking off these fast miles and stuff for super long time, and like this shouldn't scare you. And so I've been like entering a lot more kids in those races, and their attitude has been so good with that. And I've been impressed just with honestly, like just how fast they've run. And like our girls, we have currently 4 girls in the top 10 in AA right now in the 3200. And I'm like, yes, that is awesome. Like we're doing it. And we have a girl who, she would have said before the season, like she was probably an 800, 1600 girl. And now she just like loves the 3200 and it's her favorite race. And so just getting kids to that point where they just like, they embrace the longest race and the biggest grind that they can possibly go through. So that's been something I've been excited to see, is just those things. And our top girl, I guess it was about a week ago now, ran 10:46 in the 2 mile, and it was the 7th fastest time in South Dakota history. And I was blown away by that. And so yeah, that was just super fun. And really excited for Howard Wood, because she's going to be probably racing Megan Ford, who won Nike regionals last time they had it. And it's just going to be super fun. So I'm excited about the 2 mile. And another thing is we talk about this, or we have talked about this in the past. The kids, the boys get excited about how many sub 5 milers we can get in one season. I don't know how many we had like way back in the 70s and stuff, but in the recent stretch that we've had, the record on our team for most sub 5 milers is 12 in 2017. And currently we have 11 this season already. And so the guys are super, super pumped about doing that. We have a couple guys that are like really close. And even our top girl, I think, can break 5. And so we're excited to break that record. And it just, it shows like how much depth we have to have guys that are not even going to be close to running state this season, that are, running sub 5, and they're just going to be pumped going into cross country season. And yeah, just impressed with the way that that we're able to, I don't know, just take young runners that like would never be able to, they would never be able to break 5 in their wildest dreams when they come in as a freshman. And then now they're doing it. And like, they're like, oh, I can go faster, like 450, let's go. And it's just, they're pumped up about it. And it's awesome. I mean, we have two boys that like were running, one of them was running 26 minutes as in the 5K his freshman year. And then another one, like 23 minutes. And one of them ran 4:55 this season, the mile. And it's like,
oh, that's so cool.
Like, I was like, I mean, you just get so pumped for these kids. And there was one kid that like, he had been injured for his freshman and sophomore years. Injury after injury, but he was like so diligent with like what he could do when he wasn't running, and just had a fantastic attitude. And I don't know. He had this race where he ran like over 11 minutes in the 2 mile for his first 2 mile, but then like he had a race where he ran 10:41. It was like a 30-second PR. And I just like, after the race, I was so pumped up for him. I just went over and like picked him up and like, just, I don't know, just to see those kids like achieve goals that they never thought were possible. Just go from like literally the slowest kid on our team to being like one day, like potentially on the state team next year. Like winning a state championship is in the possibility for that kid. And like they were like unable to run like 1 7-minute mile when they came in as a freshman, and now they're able to like do 2 5:30 miles back to back in the 2 mile. Like it's just awesome. So yeah that's what fires me up.
That's so cool, Luke. Like just when you think Sioux Falls Lincoln is going to graduate these seniors, a young new cohort, of talented runners is developed in the spring, man. That's really neat to hear, especially that possibility of breaking that sub 5 cohort of record from 2017. That's impressive. So you're at 11 right now, and with a couple on the cusp of breaking 5. That's exciting.
Yeah, I think I don't know, my goal, I think we can get to like 14 or 15. So and to have all those seniors graduating, like that's going to be huge for those guys that have to step up next year, because they get to achieve something where they like gain confidence and they're able to take up the mantle next season. And and like like I said, these like the juniors this year that are going to be seniors next year, they like almost none of them were running fast as freshmen. They weren't like a freshman class that you were like, man, they're going to be really good in 4 years. Like it was just kind of like, oh, like that's just a bunch of JV runners. And but the juniors this year that we have, like they are such good leaders and they have amazing attitudes. And there's probably like 5 different guys that I would like name captain, and they're just fantastic, and the culture is so good, and they're just willing to do whatever it takes to be better. And I don't know, I just get so excited because even though like we've won a bunch of state championships, like it's really just about giving these kids an amazing experience. And so for next year, like even though we've won 3 straight state championships, we only have 1 returner that has run state before. Like nobody else has even run at the state meet. So like they're all going to get to experience this for the first time. So they're pumped up. And that's what I really enjoy about our program, is giving those kids an opportunity to do that when they're seniors. And I like being a junior and senior heavy program because it gives kids like a glimpse when they're younger of like, okay, this kid was running 23 minutes in the 5K when he was a freshman, and now he's like the guy I'm looking up to. Like I can do that. I could potentially do that. And I think that's what has caused the ball to keep rolling over all the years, is just kids getting excited about what they can do, and just having so many great examples on the team of like not only like, I mean, we have, a bunch of talent too, but like kids who weren't considered talented, and just learning that like talent is not about what your physical abilities can give you. Like talent is in your head. It's like, it's your mind and it's your spirit. And if you just have the right mindset and you want to keep moving forward and do whatever it takes to get better, like you will get better. And there's so many people that we can use as examples to prove that. So yeah.
Oh, that's great, man. The most powerful muscles between your 2 ears, right? I mean,
there we go. Yeah.
The mindset, it's right. If you can tap into that, right. If you can really believe that you can accomplish these things that you write down in your goals book, or, write it on the wall, or right. You start believing that these things are possible, and you're helping us so many, right. Make it a reality. Running world. You wanna give me your thoughts on? There was a 13:56 5K runner from Augustana just down at Drake Relays. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, it's exciting. My brother actually went to Augie for his first year of college, and obviously having Augie here, like we just I know Tracy Hummon pretty well, and just excited for them, excited for how they've done and what they're building, and just to see like the same coach be there for a long time and then just continue to get better throughout the years is really exciting. And and then I feel like just the way that they've been able to develop, like, I don't know, like average varsity high school runners into like really, really good collegiate athletes. Like that's what we want. Like the South Dakota school is doing. And like, I think SDSU is doing a great job right now too. And like, and obviously, USD, just like they've accomplished so much on the track too, and their field events and things like that. And I don't know. It's really exciting. And we have a couple current, former Patriots that are on Augie's team, and just to see them thriving is great. And I also think just with like, it seems like this year is kind of special. And I think not having track season last year, just everybody's fired up. Like everybody's just getting after it. And I think the pressure of, specifically in college, like the racing schedule is just so rigorous, and to not have that last year and just give the kids an opportunity to just train for all those months on their own and kind of like figure it out. Like I'm sure there were some kids who were like, actually, I don't miss this. I'm gonna be done. And then some kids are like, they just go out on the dirt road and run 10 miles a day. And they're just like, I love running so much. And they just reignite that passion for it. And I think that's why you're seeing, crazy times drop this season. And cause I think the true lovers of distance running are, thriving right now. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's really impressive to see the, South Dakota schools really, which are developmental programs, start to thrive in this year off sort of, the pandemic, and just, you could definitely tell the ones that, sort of put their chips in and said, hey, I'm going to get better this next year. And yeah, it's pretty remarkable to see, some of these times like this Alec Cray. I got to go back to it, because if you look at his PRs, it's pretty phenomenal to think that, a 422 miler, and that's this year, 353 for the 1500. And that was at Sioux City relays. And then to go to Drake, get in the right race, and then just 1356, you're like, that's really impressive.
Yeah. And I know that, you guys have probably talked about this on the podcast before, but just that's what makes distance running so awesome. Like random dudes from all over the place just popping up and just being like, who the heck is this? Like running these crazy times. I love it so much. And it's always cool to see, obviously from Augustana, but from really anywhere, like just, just these, random guys and gals that have just been working hard for so many years. And like you said, you get in the right race and really hit it hard. And it's really, really fun.
Well, Luke, this has been awesome. Thanks so much for spending time with me today, and just, really just sharing what's on your heart in terms of your passion and love for coaching. I will definitely love to, link up for a run when I come to my hometown. Really, I say hometown because that's where I was born. So I lived there 5 years, and I got, great family that lives in Sioux Falls. And but the same goes for, when you come, West River, we got to just, get on a run together and chat, have a cup of coffee, and I'll be cheering on the Patriots the rest of the way.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, no, I'd love to do that. And like I said, I just love that you guys are doing this podcast and just strengthening the running community. It's the best community to be a part of. And so I'd love to connect with you further. And I love talking to coaches and meeting coaches, and then for you, like just being passionate about running and being a runner yourself, like I could talk all day about it. So yeah.
Hey, Luke, I got to tell you this. It's a hidden secret, but I think you could take the St. Patty's Day mile record down next year. I'm gonna tee this one up for you. 418 is the record. You don't want to know who has it, but it hasn't been beat for over 20 years, and they didn't run it this year, so it's another year. You could take that one down. It's downhill, so I can't do any pacing for you. That's beyond me.
Yeah, I'll give it my best shot. I mean, I've been wanting to do that mile for a couple of years now. It's been canceled the last few years, and so definitely excited to give that a shot. But no, it's I think it's sometimes hard to get into good shape in March, and so 418 is pretty quick to be able to. I've never run a road mile before, so I don't even know what it's like. But yeah, I would love to give that a shot for sure.
Yeah, if you like gravity, you'll love this one, because it's basically
there you go.
You get thrown down the hill for the first half mile, and then you're just hanging on for dear life. But your brother did give it a go for a record. I think he ran in like the 420s or something like that. Don't quote me, yeah,
I think he won one year. If you look at the list of winners, I think he did take it one year. So we got to get a second Jelen on there.
Yeah, you got to be faster than him. So let's just go for the record, and
And why not?
Get a twofer there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke, thanks so much again for your time, man, and all the things you're doing for not only your program, but really just this great state and the rest of the country. These athletes go, make a difference in the rest of their lives, and they plug into those organizations, and they're really high performers. So I got to thank you so much for what you're doing, man. Appreciate it, and take care.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Pivotal Running Podcast. Make sure to visit our website, pivotalrunning.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Spotify, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you simply would tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. Thanks.